Hello there. We're doing something a bit different today. Around a few weeks back, I got a sponsorship offer for a trading card game that's been out for less than a year. This card game was made in Paris, developed by Equinox Studios, who are the sponsors of today's video. In case that wasn't clear, Altered TCG. Where do I start? I mean, at first, I was mildly intrigued. The cards showed a pattern of stats that looked unlike what I'm used to seeing. But honestly, what caught my attention was how downright beautiful the card design is. Yet there isn't much discourse online, and despite being an addict of the genre myself, I never heard of this card game before. I play mostly digital card games though, which is important to mention here. So yeah, the game looks pretty, quite a bit of numbers and symbols I'm struggling to understand, and little marketing around it. Let's try it out, I said. 4 days ago, at approximately 9 p.m., I made my account at boardgamearena.com, clicked on play now, and then clicked again on Altered. I then completed the tutorial and immediately began trying out the different starter decks. I played game after game up until 5 a.m. for 4 consecutive days. I was hooked. Altered is unlike any card game I've ever played, and I've played a lot of them. The sheer uniqueness within its design was difficult for me to adjust to, which is why I failed to win a single game in my first day. Yet I was captivated by the gameplay, as it offered an experience that felt truly fresh within a rather saturated genre. You see, most card games are designed around a combat system, where cards smack each other in a game concept generally revolving around the notion of bringing something's HP down to 0 in order to win. Altered's design goes in a completely different direction. This game is a race. In Altered, you play with a 40 card deck, your main card being your hero, who has company. Hero and companion unite in a card that will be present throughout your entire game. For unknown reasons, our chosen friends go separate ways and get like really far away from each other, exploring a new reshaped Earth after a mysterious event altered it. Hero and companion must reunite so they can talk about what the is going on, and you must accomplish this before your opponent does. The player who reunites their hero and companion first wins the match. I'm gonna explain the game in detail now. Don't worry, I won't ramble that much. Maybe a little. The match begins. You get a token representing your hero and their companion. Both tokens race towards each other across different kinds of location, which slowly unveil. This journey takes place one day at a time. Morning, noon, afternoon, dusk, and night represent the different phases from each round known as day. Both hero and companion lead expeditions simultaneously. During the first morning, both players draw 6 cards. You keep 3 of them in your hand and send the other 3 to your mana zone. At dusk, both tokens can advance towards the next location if their expeditions succeed. Every location is made up of up to 3 different regions: forest, mountain, and water. In order for one to advance, you must outpoint your opponent in at least one of the regions represented on the location you're currently in. You do so by playing characters who have an expedition marker dictating the amount of power they provide you with for each region. Both players have 1 action for each turn. Once you've made your play, your turn ends and your opponent makes their own, ending their turn and starting yours again. When a player passes, they cannot make any more plays for the remainder of the day. The round ends when both players have passed. By dusk, both expeditions are checked. Players who've managed to outscore in at least one of the regions represented in their location will advance towards the next. The day then ends at night, where all characters are sent to the reserve. A new day begins. This time you draw 2 cards and send 1 card in your hand to the mana zone to then play out your cards again. The cycle repeats itself until a player succeeds in reuniting hero and companion to win the game. There are 3 types of cards in Altered: characters who provide you with the power needed to win expeditions, spells which can enhance your cards or disrupt the opponents, and permanents who lack expedition stats themselves yet can serve as engines. Unlike characters, permanents remain on the board after night, providing you with all kinds of value throughout the match. The board contains the locations and expedition zones we have already mentioned, alongside the landmark zone and the reserve. Landmark permanents are played onto the landmark zone, where they stay for the entire game, unless they get removed. The reserve is where the characters that you played go to at the end of the day, and also spells right after you cast them. The reserve acts as a second hand, from which you can replay cards by paying the reserve cost. All cards have 2 different mana costs represented at the top left corner. The blue circle determines the mana cost required to play said card from hand. The bottom circle represents the mana cost required to play it from the reserve. When you play a card from your reserve, it gains fleeting, which means once the card leaves the expedition again, it goes to the discard pile instead. There is no limit to the amount of cards that can be played on either expedition. Yet both the landmark zone and the reserve do have a limit of up to 2 cards. This limit only comes into play at night, where you'll be forced to discard excess cards from both zones. Not only is this game's design unique, it's just so compelling. Resource management and sequencing are absolutely key in Altered. Every game leads to an incredibly fun 15 to 20 minute journey where all sorts of different strategies clash in a battle of tug of war, where one must find a way to not only advance, but put a halt to your opponent's progress as well. The end result is an addicting experience that'll leave you eager to play game after game after game. Deck building in Altered is amazing. You pick one of the 6 available regions and then select one of 3 heroes. The remaining 39 cards are assigned to the hero's region. Here's where things get interesting. Most cards in Altered have 2 different variations, common and rare. The rare version of the card is more powerful, yet you can only run a total of 15 rares in your 39 card deck. As a deck builder, I found myself in heaven. This adds a whole nother layer to deck building, as you have to decide which rare variants are worth the slot and which cards are good enough as commons for your overall strategy. On top of this, character cards also have unique variants. You can run no more than a total of 3 unique characters in your deck. There are literally countless different variations of unique characters available in the game. Your own uniques will provide your deck with an exclusive identity, further expanding the game's overall diversity to a level most card games are incapable of. After spending an entire day getting destroyed, I got the hang of things. I aimed all my focus on a specific region in an attempt to master it in a short period of time. Few days in, I built up the knowledge required to build my very own Axiom deck and went on a massive win streak with it. Our hero is Sierra, with her companion, Oddball. Whenever we play a permanent with a hand cost of 3 or more, exhausting Sierra will spawn a brass buck token onto one of our expeditions. Our deck brings in a high density of permanents that synergize with our hero, the key cards being 2 landmark permanents, the Foundry and Brass Buck Hive. Many characters within Altered have effects that trigger once you play them from your reserve. They are represented by this symbol. The Foundry allows us to trigger these effects as we play them from our hand as well, providing us with the ability to trigger set effects twice, when we play them from hand and when we play them again from the reserve. Our win condition is the ultimate landmark, the rare version of Brass Buck Hive. Upon entry, this landmark will spawn a Brass Buck token, while also triggering Sierra for a second one. That's only the beginning though, as from that point on, at noon, Brass Buck Hive will automatically spawn a Brass Buck token. And because we're playing the rare version of it, every time a robot joins our expedition, it will receive 1 boost, boosting all 3 of his stats by 1. This card is an incredible value engine that will provide you with free power throughout the entire game. Our lineup is built around these 2 landmarks, forming a deck that aims to overwhelm the opponent with robot tokens. Yet making robots is not all we do. We also run a combination of characters, spells, and permanents to disrupt our opponent's plays. A great example of this is one of my personal favorite cards, the rare version of Armored Jammer. The moment this landmark is played, you can target a card in your opponent's reserve and discard it. Being the rare version, this same effect repeats itself once Armored Jammer leaves the landmark zone, which will happen at night once we exceed the landmark limit, but we can also pop it with cards like the Grems and Boom, who provide us with powerful effects at the expense of sacrificing a permanent. The end result is a deck with a powerful, long-lasting, proactive game plan, backed up by multiple sources of disruption. I know I'm tooting my own horn here, but this deck is sick, and given my limited experience, I'm quite proud of it. There's no doubt about it. Altered TCG is a hidden gem within the card game genre. If you're a fan of card games and have been itching for something new, look no further. All you gotta do is go to boardgamearena.com, create an account, and start playing this outstanding game for free. If you want to build a specific deck, go to altered.gg and click on the Market tab, where you can purchase individual cards online. Building playable decks will cost you less than $5. Every card you purchase has a unique QR code. This allows you to transfer your physical collection onto your digital account. Unique character cards are more expensive, but don't worry. In the description down below, I'll share a variation of my deck that runs no uniques, so you can try out my build right out of the gate. Big thanks to Equinox for sponsoring today's video. Altered TCG is indeed a hidden gem, and I have been absolutely compelled by it. And I really put a lot of work into this particular video, as I want to do my very best to make sure that I can share this game with the internet and hopefully spread out the word, because it is an absolute masterpiece in card game design, and I have been absolutely enthralled by it. So we're gonna hop on over to some games. We're gonna play with the deck that I just shared, and we'll see how we do. So leave a comment, share. Hope you enjoyed the matches, and try out Altered TCG. Let's get to it. All right, here we go. I know a lot of you watching have no idea what's going on, and it's gonna be hard to follow, so I'm gonna do my very best to explain exactly what's going on, go over all the cards being played, and guide you through this amazing card game. As we are gonna go ahead and select our deck, and we're good to go. As you can see, both of us deploy an emblem on each side. We have the hero and the companion. So let me go over this for a moment, in case you haven't seen the intro. The objective is to have both our hero and companion connect. So whenever we win one of the expeditions every turn, we get to advance one round. And as we advance into the unknown, the locations will flip and different sorts of strengths will be relevant for us to continue advancing. We're facing off against Argent and Spike. Discard a card from your reserve. The next card you play this turn with hand cost 3 or less gains anchored. Okay, so they're looking to anchor. Anchor allows characters to stay on the board for the next turn. So it's kind of like it's a strategy that revolves around them deploying power and preserving it for multiple rounds. So keeping that in mind, Boom can be really important, and Kill on Burst as well. I have the bug out bag though, so I can enable Boom really easily with this. And I have the Grems as well. I'm gonna go ahead and drop, I know I want to lead off with the bug out bag. That's just a great opener for us. So I want to keep this. I need to choose 3 cards and send them to the mana, basically. So I get to keep half my hand. The Foundry mechanic could be useful, but I think I'm going to drop it. The Grems functions well with the bag out bag. I don't want to preserve 2 different sources of removal. I don't like that, so I'm gonna drop this. Hi. And I need one of these 3 cards. What am I keeping? Because I want to lead off with a bug out bag. I want to have removal for the units that they want to anchor, but I also want to be able to deploy the Grems if I need some proactivity. Keeping the Axiom Salvager could be better though. And given that I don't have, maybe preserving the Foundry mechanic is just overall better. Yes, I'm gonna keep these 3. This is the ideal lead, the bug out bag. This is a permanent that's a gear, so it's an expedition permanent. It's a permanent that goes to either expedition, and it allows me to. You'll see. Doesn't really matter where I play it. It allows me to spawn not 1, but 2 brass bugs because it costs 3. It's a permanent that costs 3, which triggers my hero's ability. I can exhaust my hero and spawn a brass bug token. These brass bugs are essentially what my deck is about. We generate them, we buff them, we make more of them, and we have several different ways of doing so. We synergize around permanents to accomplish this. And they deploy Kitsune, which says each player may resupply. Yes, I will. Thank you. So they resupply for both of them. So it's a deck that's really heavy on deploying the reserves or filling them up. And we have a perfect counter to that. And the good thing about this is her strength is impressive on mountain and water, but not on grass. So both of us are going to advance on the left, and I'm going to advance on the right. So we start off with an advantage here. But they're going to trigger their ability. Oh, okay. And they gave this anchored. Okay, interesting. We still advance. But they preserve. See, this thing is anchored, so it gets to stay. Right? The turn begins. Avalanche can be extremely useful here. This is a very easy pick for us. Like, Foundry Mechanic can allow us to ramp, but it's also not great in multiples. So I'm gonna be sending one as my 4th mana. You can see like these cards are our mana. And we have a hand with a lot of removal and some good permanents as well. So let me send this Foundry Mechanic as mana. Now they have the coin. The coin goes back and forth. So now because they have the initiative coin, they go first. With 2 cards in hand, but they play from the reserve. See, you can play from the reserve. You can only, at the end of the, like at night, basically any excess landmark and cards in the reserve get discarded. You can only have a total of 2 in each. But for throughout the turn, I can build up as many as I want. So they play this. Doesn't have an effect when being played from reserve because that hand means that it triggers when it's played from the hand. So it's just 3 stats here, which happens to align well with what we need. So it matches up well here. I think this is a phenomenal avalanche. I think this is an exceptional avalanche. I'm gonna play this. Before they get to buff these, I can target a total of creatures whose mountain power is 4 or less. So I get to target both of these and remove them. And because this came out of the reserve, it has fleeting. So it means it doesn't go back to the reserve. It actually is discarded. So when you play a card, as a turn end, it goes to a reserve. And then when you play from the reserve, it gains fleeting. So you can't like endlessly cycle with it. So resource management is super important in this game. It's a brilliantly designed game. And now they have no more muscle to drop. They don't even play this, which is interesting. So I'm going to play the Foundry Mechanic and get away with advancing on my companion's expedition. And now they're very passing. I pass now. So now I advance. I have a significant lead here. It's going really well. But the problem is now I have excess reserves. I have excess cards in my reserve. So this could lead to some draw in a pinch. This costs less and it just like automatically draws for us. And it leaves I think I need to keep the bug out bag. And we draw the Brass Bug Hive with the Foundry Mechanic in the reserve. This is massive, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing. The question is, what do I send as mana? Boom can be really important, so I'm gonna drop the Axiom Salvager. Oh, this is incredible. Normally we have to pay 6 mana to play this, either from our hand or our reserve. As you can see, both costs are 6. But because of the Foundry Mechanic in our reserve, we can discard this card and have our next permanent cost 1 less. This allows us to play our win condition, which is the Brass Bug Hive, 1 turn earlier. And that's exactly what we're gonna do here. At this point, I think I wanna double down on 1 expedition. Though it is hard for them to defeat 2 of them. No, I think I'm gonna spread out instead. I want to guarantee that I win an expedition. And I think 2 buffed brass bugs on each flank is more likely to get me there. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, this is where my lack of knowledge of like the meta and the cards within other factions comes into play, because I just don't know. I'm still like I've only been playing for a few days, so I just don't know. They trigger this ability, but in case you're wondering what happened here, we played the Brass Bug Hive, and upon entry, its effect has, you know, that arrow means that if it's when it enters the board, whether it's from the hand or the reserve. Okay, they drop a Behemoth, the daughter of. Okay, and each player draws a card. We have to pass here, so because we have no more mana. So this comes and spawns a Brass Bug token, and because it's a permanent that costs 3 or more, we also get to trigger our Sierra and spawn another one. And another effect this thing has is when a robot joins your expeditions, it gains 1 boost. That means it gets +1 stats all across the board. So now my Brass Bug bots are 3/3/3s. And if I find another Brass Bug Hive, they go to 4/4/4. And I'm a little bit worried. Can they match this with 2 energy? No, 2 mana. But they buff the hell out of this, and they anchor it. You see how they anchor it? So that means that thing's gonna stay. But we are getting really close. Like, we have a massive tempo lead over them. And now we have an engine because that's not it. At noon, so right now we're in morning, which is where we decide to place our mana, but the next phase is noon. And here we apply the at noon effects. And that triggers this, which spawns automatically another Brass Bug onto the board. And we can play another Brass Bug Hive now. The question is, what do we deploy? The answer is this. This Colonic Heater is, you know, we already have this as a gear, you know, for boom. I'm okay with not focusing. Yeah, let's spawn the Brass Bug on the expedition where this massive thing is in front of us. I'm okay with letting them win that expedition. I just gotta defend the companion one. I just gotta keep slowly but surely advancing, and then I can resort to boom for the win. Double Brass Bug High will be incredibly difficult for them to deal with. But the green faction, generally from what I see, it's a lot about building up these very strong characters and then applying anchor to them. But I'm pretty sure there's more to the faction. Okay, so they can play that too. That's a lot of stats. Each player may put a card from their hand or reserve to draw a card. I kind of like what I have. What am I searching for here? Maybe more removal would be nice. No, I like what I have, honestly. So I'm gonna pass. And now I choose an action, and we're quite simply gonna develop another Brass Bug Hive. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going all in on the right. Double buff, because now both of them are on the board, so now all of my Brass Bugs get buffed twice. The power! And they can't match this. This thing is really powerful, but not enough to get them there. Yep, so they don't even bother playing it. They win that location that we gave up, and now we advance with our companion yet again. See how close they are? We're gonna win with the power of friendship very soon. Now we're in a situation in which if we manage to win in both expeditions, we win the game. And with double Brass Bug Hive, that could happen. Oh, there's more removal. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. I'm gonna drop the Colonic Heater because the Foundry can be... This is a pivotal card. This is essentially one of the cards that the deck is built around, right? We just didn't happen to draw it early, but it can still find use. It can make it so that because I have a bunch of cards in the deck that have I need to see what the symbol. I probably would have said it in the intro. What that like symbol for the card is. You know, it activates its abilities, like that, like white card with like the thing. That means cards that are played from the reserve. So if I play a card that has that effect from my hand, I also get to activate it thanks to this. And it's essentially the foundation of this deck. Let me see. Target player gains 1 boost. Characters in my expeditions are seasoned. They keep their boost when they go to the reserve. Okay. Okay, so that just sits there. Okay, so where am I spawning here? They have quite a bit of power. I've been talking a lot, but I need to focus on... Let me spawn. For now, let me just go on both flanks. Let me threaten both locations, both expeditions. Because they're running low on gas. And it's not like they have that much mana to match this power. Like, double Brass Bug Hive is insane. It's absolutely insane. And I got a ton of removal here. But I'm going to lead off with the Brass Bug, the Bug Out Bag. Because it allows me to supply. And I'm more likely to win on this location. So I'm going to spawn another Brass Bug here because it costs 3. Even though I only spent 2 because it originally cost 3. Oh, I can... Oh. And they just give up. You don't see it because the chat is quite literally under my camera. But, you know, he said GG. And we win. We kind of like steamrolled through them. So this was insane. Picking up this with the resupply effect from this was insane. Now, let me explain this board state a little bit for those of you who you know, want to know what the hell's going on, right? Like, want to understand things a little bit better. We had double Brass Bug Hives. These both are triggering at noon, spawning these tokens, and their effects are stacking, so the boosts are duplicating, which is why my brass bucks are 4/4/4s now. And the bug out bag is actually cheaper to play from the reserve. The thing is, I don't trigger, you see the hand there? That means if you play a card from your hand. The white card below means if you play the card from your reserve, like I explained. My deck is built around this with my characters. You didn't see many of them in this particular game, but if you take a look at my mana zone, you'll see like a lot of my characters have this white card in them. You see? So these are effects that trigger when they're played from the reserve, but with the Axiom, with the Foundry here, I can actually activate their effects when I play them from my hand as well. And that's kind of like the foundation here. But in this case, we played it from the reserve for 1 less mana, but we don't get to spawn the brass bug on its own, but we do get to resupply. So when we played this, we still got to activate Sierra because she takes into account the hand cost, not the reserve cost, in order to trigger her ability, which is why, for example, like this colonic heater right here, the rare one, which has a cost of 1, right? If I played from my reserve, I can still trigger Sierra, only playing 1 mana. So stuff like that is very neat. But the key thing here is this thing resupplied, and resupplying means taking the top card of my deck and placing it in my reserve. And by doing that, I got the Foundry mechanic, and we played this earlier. This is kind of like low-key the MVP of this game. I can discard this card from my reserve by clicking on this X for a quick action, so it doesn't consume my turn. And the next permanent that I play costs 1 less. This card allowed me to play the Foundry and one of these 2 removals, despite only having 5 mana left. So that's what I meant by this being an amazing pull to get with a resupply effect here. And yeah, that's basically what this deck is about. We didn't really showcase much of like our disruptive abilities, like our armor jammers and stuff, which allows us to interact a lot with the reserve. So I think, you know, we can go for another game and put that part of the deck to work. If you're wondering, I'm talking about, I didn't even draw the card. I literally didn't even draw the card. Omega lol. Round 2. All right, round 2. We're facing off against this guy's French, and he's ranked higher than me. Let's take him down. Sometimes this message appears. Just ignore it. We got our deck here in display as they're selecting theirs. Here we can see all the cards that we're playing. This is the Armor Jammer is a card that I really want to showcase, and the Uniques as well. We got an Axiom on Axiom matchup here. And but we're facing Sabash and Mamo, so it's quite a different strategy that revolves around them placing their cards in their reserves. So we do want the jammer. We don't find it. We have the Foundry opener this time. This card is, and the fact that we're going second and we can lead off. This card going second is so much better because we can select which expedition to fight for, as we don't generate as much power with it initially. So that's really good. We have the Foundry mechanic. I mean, that was pretty game-winning before, but now things have changed because I have access to some of these. I need to see what this effect is. I'm gonna call it the reserve spawn. We have some reserve spawn effects that we can trigger with the Foundry. So I want to keep Axiom Salvager and you, and then a 3, like the Colonic Heater could be really good to follow it up with. Yes, I like this. So I'm gonna take these 3 out. And I'm gonna keep these 3 in because I can 3 and 1 next turn, as I can only trigger this effect once, so I can't activate all of my reserve spawn effects from hand in 1 turn. It can only be once because I have to tap this to trigger it, right? It says the next character you play and you tap it, so you only activate it once. So this hero is interesting. So it says, at noon, you may pay 1 and put a card from your hand in reserve to create a brass buck token. So they can do that at noon. They spawn this here, but they still have 2 mana open. Do we expect them to generate something else here to fight us with? Like, it's kind of risky for me, but I could have a really strong opener. Because I can outmatch this, but if they play something else, they could unmuscle me in this expedition. If I spawn on the left, I guarantee advance in that one. But I get a tremendous advantage. No, I think it's a little bit too risky. Like I think they have something to play, so I'm gonna drop this here. But then again, I also get 2 card. No. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Foundry, and I'm gonna trigger my hero's ability, and I'm gonna spawn the Brass Bug on the left. That way, I guarantee win because they still have 2 mana. And if they play a 2-drop, they could easily beat me here because they could just stack both here. But now a 2-drop is unlikely to defeat me here because if it has anything, generally the cards are really balanced, right? Like if it's a 2-drop, most of the 2-drops won't be able to defeat me on all 3, so they're just gonna pass here, and we pass right back, and we start off with an equal opener. You know, we advance our hero, they advance their companion. And we have, we now see the expeditions ahead. So we are in a grass water area with a hero here. We draw into Ogun, which is really nice because we could potentially sacrifice that. What am I disposing of here? I think the Avalanche is a little bit early for the Avalanche. It's a reactive card, and I'm going first here. And I want to stick to my plan, which is to lead off with the Axiom Salvager. Because Axiom Salvager offers no power for water, only for forest and mountain. I'm gonna call it forest. I'm gonna spawn it on the Companion's Expedition because that's where his stats will actually matter. And whoa, they have the Grems. And this thing is buffing itself as well. So they triggered that and they spawned that there. Because they have the Grems, they're going to be able to spawn the Grems and destroy that here. And that's going to give them 4, 4, 4, and 3. Which I'm going to have a difficult time matching. So I'm going to spawn... wait, no, before I play this, I'm going to tap my Foundry. And I'm going to summon my Axiom Salvager. And as you can see... I'm able to supply here, but then they can play the Grems. Yeah, they can play the Grems and destroy my landmark. Unfortunately, like they have a great counter there. So now, in order for us to defeat them, we always have to play you here, and because it's this card essentially resupplies. But I'm going to invoke the Brass Buck on the right, so I can defeat them on this expedition. I lose the left, and then I spawn the Armored Jammer. The Armored Jammer is amazing, because it allows us to attack the reserve. And now we pass, and both of us advance. This time the other way around. So right now it's equal. Not as lopsided as the other one. But now we have to choose one of these reserve cards to discard. Like Ada Lovelace can just provide us with more power here, so I'm actually going to discard the Axiom Salvager because no, I have 4 mana, so I can actually chain this, and then I think I have to get rid of Ada Lovelace. Yes, I'm gonna get rid of Ada because I could potentially 2/2/1 this turn, as I have 5 mana, and I'm gonna get rid of the Foundry mechanic. It's a little bit too late for this effect to apply, and I'm just gonna convert it into mana. God, this game this is so well designed, man, because it's just like... I also love this system of like you not knowing what the locations are going to be until you run into them. Like there's just so much going on. It's so original. At least, you know, I've played so many card games and I've never played one like this. It's really something. I've been so addicted, man. Seriously, like I know this is a sponsored video, guys, but this is like the best. This is easily the best sponsorship I've ever done. It's a game that just got it has me obsessed. You have no idea how much I've been playing this. I've been playing for like 4 days, but I've been playing so much. It's amazing. Now here they have initiative, which means they can play the drone. They can play the drone from the reserve before I hit it with the Armored Jammer, which is what they should probably be doing. Yes. I want to threaten this expedition though. So I'm gonna play my Axiom Salvager from my reserve, allowing me to resupply, and I get the Brass Buck Hive, which I can develop next turn. Playing this guy here means that if I develop the bug out bag... Okay. So they played the hooked. That allows them to draw a card and move one character from one expedition to another. So they moved the Axiom here. So now I can't threaten this anymore. But that's fine because now I have a target for the Armored Jammer. The Armored Jammer is a landmark that when it enters, regardless of if you play it for hand or from your reserve, upon entry, I can discard a card from the reserve, which is extremely good value. And that's not all. Because we play the rare version, when it leaves my landmark zone, it does the same thing again, providing us with card advantage. Now we don't need to invest anymore. We've already won the left location, and we just preserve our stuff in hand. I mean, is there a reason to play this? Up to one target character gains fleeting. It could be good to have Ogun. No, because next turn I'm just gonna play... Next turn I'm just gonna play the Brassbuck Hive. I could make use of Ogun in the reserve, but I also don't want it to be vulnerable. And this thing is also going to my reserve, so yeah, that was a good call. I forgot about that for a second. The Brassbuck Hub is a little bit too late for this to really, because I'm gonna be playing the other one most likely. This guy can provide us with quite a bit of power here and here on the companion side. I mean, it's not great. But it's still better than the hub here, I think. So I'm gonna send it as my mana. And this turn, it's turn 6. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna play our Brassbuck Hive. And that'll be our entire turn, but it'll be one hell of a turn. And I'm gonna spawn it on my companion's location. And the reason for that is because there are 2 different strengths that matter here. So I have higher odds of one of them pulling through. Generally, like when you go all in on one expedition, like that's the approach you want to take. So they send a card to their reserve with their hero's ability, and they pay 1 mana to spawn a Brassbuck bug. So maybe this just changes our positioning. Like maybe we just ignore it. There's options though. There's options. Like, do we actually go Brassbuck? Because if I play you, I can sacrifice my Armored Jammer and I can get rid of this immediately. But setting up the Brassbuck Hive can... I think it's more important overall. Maybe this is incorrect, honestly, but I want to deploy this here, and I just want to keep things... I just want to keep things equal for now, because if I can win one expedition while setting up the Brassbuck Hive, that's huge. And they just pass. Good pass by them. They're preserving a lot of resources here. We've developed the Brassbuck Hive though, and that's really important because now the earlier we play, the earlier we'll start generating Brassbuck tokens for free, which outmuscle theirs, and they have to pay 1 mana to play theirs. I love that jammer. You have no idea. Guys, I love that jammer. And having 2 landmarks allows me to trigger this too, so it was important to not get rid of it just yet. This allows us to push here, so that's really good. We have a total of 7 mana. We can spend 1 mana to trigger this, and then 2, 2, 2, which means I'm actually gonna get rid of the Axiom Salvager. Okay, see that sabotage there? I'm actually gonna spawn my Brassbuck here because I have the Frog Prince, which provides me with a lot of power there. They get rid of my Kelonic Healer, which is not the end of the world because I can get rid of their thing too by spawning this second Armored Jammer, ladies and gentlemen. I can target this and I can discard it before it comes into play. I said I wanted to showcase Armored Jammer, and this game is all about that. That's what I put a lot of work into this deck, man, because I was struggling with the ability to interact with the opponent, and now I have that proactive power, but I also have so much disruption as well. Really proud of this cook, okay? Like it's dope as hell. They have 1 mana left. Can I potentially win both locations here? Is it possible? I think it is. It definitely is. With Ogun? Oh yeah, with Ogun, it definitely is. Ogun only contributes here, though. So I'm gonna sack one of these, even though I could make use of this going at the end of the turn. I resupply here. And developing Ogun is really important because whenever I play a permanent, if I control 2 or more landmarks, robots that I control gain a +1/+1 boost. And now, the bug out bag comes into play here, and I steamroll them. This turn is all mine, ladies and gentlemen. I invoke the other one first. Doesn't really matter where, like I won both. And then I trigger Ogun's ability, which gives them all a boost. Oh, they call uncle. Oh, they cry uncle. English. Oh, higher ranked player, and we just dominated. And we didn't get to showcase. Oh, this unique is so dope. If I play it from the supply, from the reserve, if I have 2 or more permanents, so permanents include the landmarks, but also potentially the gears as well. So very easy requirement for this deck to meet. I spawn a brass bug token on each expedition, and I have this massive stat line to be like and I can also like exhaust cards from the reserve, so it gives me even more disruption. And that's the power of this build generally. Like, it's the ability to generate so much proactive muscle. Like, we have a lot of like proactive power, but we also have so much disruption as well. I love this deck. Okay, like you guys have no idea how many hours, because at first I had no idea what I was doing. So I just focused on one faction. I tried so many decks online that I didn't actually like any of them. Like, they all had issues, but I started realizing, okay, I like these cards, I like this card, I need more interaction, this and that. And then this entire deck came to be, and it just, yeah, I have a massive like win rate, man. It's crazy. Like, I started, like, it's funny because the first day that I played this game, I didn't win a single game. I was playing until 5 in the morning. I didn't win a single match. I got my ass kicked again and again and again. But then, you know, we kept going, and I fell in love. Like, hopefully I explained well what's going on here. Like, I know it's a lot. I know it could be very overwhelming for somebody who, you know, that hasn't even tried playing it. But seriously, this is a sponsor video, yes. But again, this is my favorite sponsorship ever. It's not even close. This is a game that I am legitimately hooked into. Like, I'm gonna keep on playing. I'm gonna get physical cards. I would love to eventually play in some tournaments. Like, it is it's a wonderful card game. It's so fresh as well. You know, nowadays, a lot of card games just feel like a different take on Magic the Gathering or digitally on Hearthstone. There's a lot of like card games that are like very similar in that sense. But this one is just its own beast, and it's beautifully designed. The cards are gorgeous. The mechanics are compelling and diverse. There's so many different tactics and strategies. I wish I could showcase like 5 games in a video, but unfortunately the games are a little bit under 20 minutes each. Between like 15 and 20 minutes in my experience. So, you know, it's not like Pokemon Pocket where I can just like showcase a bunch of games. Like I'm more limited in that sense. But hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Let me know what you think. This is a sponsorship that I really care about. Like, I hope you guys really give this game a shot. Like, it's not just because I'm being genuine here. Like, this is legitimately something that I have enjoyed. It's been a while since I've enjoyed a card game this much, and I am gonna keep on playing. I'm really excited to dive more into it. Join me on this journey and try it out yourselves. Seriously, like, it's very cheap to get into. It's very accessible, and it's incredibly fun. It's more fun to play than watch, I think. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, it's a blast. I really like it, okay? Like, I really, really like it. Love you. Have a soul day. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Share it, you know, so we spread out the word and let people know that this card game actually exists. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed the games. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.